last season, celebrating her. Incredible amount of joy over the years for every Indian sports fan. Inspiration, an aspirational tale of sorts. Welcome, Sania. Sania, the other important factor is, whether we accept it or not, unfortunately, there is still this gender inequity. We've got to face it, and there you become this larger than life figure, that women can do this. That also adds to the Sania Mirza story. Have you thought about that?
I think that I was part of a movement, when social media was just coming along and media was also kind of growing, especially the electronic media, I think. And I think that thanks to that, I was able to speak and people were able to hear. And I think that I take great pride in the fact that I feel that I've played a small role in young girls and this next generation of young girls, athletes especially, believing that they can be world champions. Because I think before myself, there was probably the only woman athlete that used to come to our minds was PT Usha. That was the only woman athlete that we used to think and say, woman athlete, India, PT Usha. That was always it. Today, we can take at least 10 to 15 names, where we can talk about and say, we've got a Sindhu, we've got a Saina, we've got a Deepa Karmakar. You can name them. You've got a Sakshi Malik, you've got a Mary Kom. You name the sport and we have it now, which wasn't there before. These are all household names. And I feel that somewhere, maybe, I hope that I have played some small part in that, to be able to make younger kids and the younger generation believe that it is possible to do it. Because I believe that knowing that PT Usha was able to do it, but that was the only person I knew that was able to do it because of the lack of media and everything. But
that is what I want to ask. Where did you get this tremendous amount of resilience and confidence and belief from?
I think that honestly, I was really born with it. I just think that there was not, I don't think that you can make people believe something. I think that, like you said, I had to look for heroes not close to home, especially in tennis. There was no single, woman where I could say, okay, this is who I want to become like, a current athlete at that point. So I used to find my inspiration in a Steffi Graf and things like that. And then for me, people often talk about, many times they talk about, the first ever, like Sania is the first ever to do this, and she's the first ever to. There are many times it comes up a lot, and they tell me, you're the first ever. Of course, I'm the first ever to play 50 Grand Slams from India. It'll always be the first ever because I was that first person. But people don't talk about how difficult it is to be the first ever. They don't ever talk about it. It is very, very hard because there is no path you can follow. There is no person you can follow. There is nothing. You have to make your own mistakes, which we did. You have to make your own decisions. Some of them are right, some of them are wrong. But my parents are the ones that gave me that confidence to always believe that I can beat the best and be the best. I used to go out on the court. I was 12 years old. I used to play with, kids who were 16 years old. I won the, Adidas Masters, it was called at that time. I was 12 and I won the same day. I won under 14 and under 16. These were the elite best tennis players that we had. And I was 12 years old and I stopped playing under 16s at that point. So these kind of things gave me the belief that I was really good at what I was doing, even as a young kid. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm better than, some of the other girls who are doing it. I used to feel that. And I used to not be scared. When I was 8, I played a girl who was 16 and I beat her. And, I was not even scared for a second. I remember that match so well. I don't remember the entire match, but I do remember walking on the court and her thinking that I didn't know how to play tennis. And she called me to the service line to play and I beat her. And at that time, I was 8 years old. I was barely over the net. I had just started playing tennis a year and a half before that. And those kind of moments gave me the belief. And I remember not for a second I was scared. She was 5 foot 8 inches tall and I was 4 feet nothing, I think. And I like challenges. I like to play. I believe that I can be the best and the best version of myself.
Any regrets?
Every athlete that comes out of a country in an individual sport outside of badminton today is there despite the system. And that's a fact. And that is a fact that you can talk to every athlete, and I'm sure you have, and they'll tell you that, whether it's golf, whether it's tennis, there is no structure. And sure, if I was from America, maybe I would have had the opportunity to train with people who I trained with later on when I was 16 years old. Maybe I would have had the opportunity to train with them at 10, 11 years old. Maybe would have had a better technique on my serve. I mean, sure, but ifs and buts is not something that we can live by. So I am very I do not regret anything, because I rather not be from any other country. I want to be from India, and that is who I am and who I represent.
Talk to me about Sania and Team Sania.
We're a very close-knit family because we're a small family. We're just two sisters and our respective spouses now. And this decision, when I went and said it out in the press, I had not spoken to anyone about it. I just went and said it. So they found out through the press and my dad actually asked me, he said, "Oh, why did you suddenly say it like that?" I mean, I had been talking about it over the last few months, but I didn't say today I'm going to go and say it. It was not something like that. And my husband has called me because we were 6 hours ahead, and he's playing a tournament somewhere, and he has called me and he said, "Did you retire? People are calling me saying you retired. And I said, "I have not retired. All I said was that at the end of the year, this is going to be my last season." So he's like, "At least you should have told me before, no?" And I was like, "I was talking to you about it." But the thing about our family is that we support each other's decisions. We don't get offended by the fact. Nobody was offended that you didn't tell me first, or there was none of that drama. It was just a little bit of surprise, and they have been like that over all the years. And we are like that with each other. When we believe and trust each other's vision, and we trust each other's decision, we go with it and we support it, and that's what family does.
Have you thought about these things, that you are not simply a tennis player, that you are also a story of aspiration, you are a story of empowerment?
I completely understand that people, especially in our part of the world, people don't really take sports people or famous people, so to say, as just for what they do. They become much larger than that. Some people have more responsibility, some people have less responsibility, but I do understand that I have a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. It's always been there. I've been answering questions about all kinds of things since I was 16 years old, before I even understood what it meant. And I'm 35 today. So I completely understand that. And that's one of the reasons that I actually had made the comeback. Even if I've inspired one young mother to say that I want to follow my dream, regardless of the fact that I am married, or regardless of the fact that I had a child, and regardless how many people told me that I shouldn't or can't do it. And if she's gone and followed her dream, I'll consider my job done. And that was one of the reasons that I was putting out those videos, where I wanted to show the journey because I'm telling you, some of my best friends, after I lost the weight, won the tournament in Hobart, and have messaged me and said, we really thought you're never going to play tennis the way you were looking. I've had that from some of my best friends. And I told them, I guess you guys don't know me well enough. These are people that have known me for 20 years. I mean, since school and college. I think for me, in our part of the world, many times women are always meant to sacrifice themselves. It's a thing, that a woman, she needs to sacrifice her career, she needs to sacrifice her time, she needs to sacrifice for her family. And if she doesn't sacrifice, then she's not good enough, Yeah, she's not good enough. And many people don't want to accept this, but this is the truth. Women face this on a day-to-day basis, when young girls say that, no, I want to go to work, and they say, yeah, but who's going to look after the house? Who's going to make the decision of who's going to cook the food at home if you have a cook, or who's going to cook the food? So that is something that I wanted to change a perception, because I understand the responsibility I have, and I feel that I have the reach to inspire. The amount of messages, Boria, I used to get, I cannot tell you, it was in thousands on Instagram when I used to post the video saying, I didn't want to go out for a walk today. I've just had a baby, but I saw your video and I've gone out to the gym. Those are the messages that I was doing it for.
Genuine appreciation for who you are, what you've done, what you've achieved, what you're leaving behind as legacy. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks.
Thank you.